What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Thursday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast with me, Matt Perrault, at Sports Talk Matt to follow me. This podcast being brought to you by BetMGM. You guys know about the $1,000 first bet offer. If you don't, new users, that is there for you with that promo code JUICE when you sign up for a new account with BetMGM at BetMGM.com. Promo code JUICE for a $1,000 first bet offer. All right, 2-1. 2-1, 2-2, 2-1. Okay, not bad. Slow and steady. This is something that I have talked about for a long time. I will take 2-1 every single night. For the rest of my life, 2-1 is perfectly fine. That was a sweaty under. I thought it would be 3-2. It was 3-2. Vegas wins, under hits, and under 5.5, even money. So that was nice to get that hit. Then we had the over, which came in easily on the basketball game that had everyone nervous. Everybody was freaking out. Xavier, oh no, wait, Providence and Xavier, how does this go? And I was looking at my notes from yesterday, and I was going like, Providence, 154.5. Ken Palm had it at 160. Everybody was just losing their mind because 4 straight overs by 8.5, 15, 19.5, and 40 for Providence. Games against Xavier, well, they had gone over. Last 2 home games had gone over, way over for Providence. Number closed at 151.5. A lot of freakouts, a lot of text messages, a lot of tweets, a lot of DMs. Matt, wait, the number, guys, okay? Just when the number crashes, I don't really care. Just gonna tell you right now. Like if I've made the bet, I made the bet. I can't do anything about it, okay? Matt, should I punt out of it? Matt, should I cash out? Do what you guys want, okay? I'm going to bet what I'm going to bet. And this is the podcast is I'm going to tell you what I'm going to bet. If you guys want to trail, awesome. You want to fade it, okay. If you want to punt out of it, totally your call, okay? That's why when people get angry, like when I go cold, because I'm going to go cold, and people are like, oh, I can't believe how cold you are. Oh my gosh, you're so bad. I'm like, just fade the bet. Like if you choose to trail the bet, make sure you understand that when you press buy, I'm just telling you what I am betting, and I'm recommending this is what I'm doing. If you want to trail, come on board. Let's go. If you want to fade, my job is to give you information. Do what you want, okay? So just know when the total crashed to 151.5, I didn't really care. I thought I was on the right side. The over hit with 5 minutes to go, guys. 5 minutes to go in the game, the over hit, all right? Now, Alabama did not hit. Bama wins. I was flat because in the Discord channel, which if you're not there, how many times do I have to tell you? I bet plus 3.5 live. Alabama plus 3.5, 1 unit, and Alabama won the game outright. A bunch of you bet plus 170 money line, which was a better hit than I had. I just took the points for 1 unit. So I got out of the bet personally. So I ended up, 3-1, and I ended up 2 units. So that was how I did it. So you don't have to do that, but if you're in the Discord channel, it's kind of a good way of hanging out with us. I don't at everyone because the play's not official, okay? That's why being in there during games is important. If you bet the game, if you trail the pick, come in and watch, okay? Come in, be a part of it. Be a part of the community. Talk to us. It's easy. BettingPros.com/chat to get in. Underneath me on YouTube, there is a opportunity for you to click a link to join. It's free. It's simple. On your phone, on your desktop, either or. Very, very simple. All right? Welcome to an interesting day. Do you guys like betting small college basketball tournaments? Because I kind of love it. Welcome to March Madness, guys. I got 3 bets in 3 tournaments, one of which I already gave you the number on the Discord channel last night because the game tips off early West Coast time, noon Central, 10 a.m. Pacific time, early game. That's why I put it in the Discord channel already. So you know of one of the bets of the 4 that I've got for you coming up here today. Before I give you the bets, let's talk a little bit about a new sponsor. And you guys who love to go to events, hate buying tickets. We all do it, right? We all have this issue. Hidden fees suck. Customer service is terrible. Coordinating with your friends can be an absolute nightmare. Then you can discover this new thing called Fanimal. Fanimal has tickets to everything. Concerts, festivals, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and there are no fees. The price you see is the price you pay. This is what I'm telling you here. Fanimal is the cheapest place on the internet to go get tickets. We've all experienced how painful it is to coordinate going to events with friends, and you end up fronting a bunch of money, and then you're chasing it down for your friends to get reimbursed, and if they flake, you're stuck with the bill, right? Well, Fanimal's patented group purchase makes it easy to split payments with your friends so no one is holding the bag. You don't commit until your friends do as well, which is awesome. You just pick the seats, pick how many tickets you want, what you want to pay for yourself, and then send the link to your friends. When they join your group, everyone gets charged separately, and your tickets are secured. Plus, you can stack cash by inviting your friends. You get $10 every time someone joins your group. It's pretty cool. So, Fanimal, amazing customer service. You guys can check out hundreds of 5-star reviews for Fanimal on the internet. Next time you need tickets, go to Fanimal, Fanimal, animal with an F, Fanimal. Download the Fanimal app. Use the promo code FANIMALJUICE, one word, FANIMAL juice, for $20 off your first purchase. Check out Fanimal and experience more. Good stuff with them. All right, let's talk about the early game. I already gave this out in the Discord channel. Illinois State and Northern Iowa. DraftKings was a point off market last night. Total was 135.5. So this is the first time the Missouri Valley Conference is doing this. I've been going, or was going, to the Valley. I went to 8 Valley Conference tournaments. Arch Madness, they call it. Okay, it's in St. Louis. Normally, the Thursday games, there's 2 at night. But because they've added 2 more teams to the conference, they got to play 4 games today. So the first game will have nobody there. 1, fans aren't used to the time. 2, nobody in St. Louis is going. They don't go to the Friday morning game. Normally what you do in this tournament is you bet the under on the Friday morning game because nobody actually goes, and it's a dead atmosphere, okay? Team plays at night and then turns around and plays in the morning. That's different. We'll worry about Friday tomorrow because there are 4 games. When they play, how they play, all factoring in. We'll talk about tomorrow after we see who wins these games. But Northern Iowa and Illinois State are playing at noon Central Time. Whew, this is really early. So both matchups for this season with Illinois State and Northern Iowa, when they played each other, it was 135, 134.5. Under by 7, under by 8.5. This is a dome, okay? This is a tough backdrop. It takes a day to get acclimated. Normally what I bet, to kind of tease it, but will be tomorrow, the early game tomorrow in the Valley tournament, bet the under. First half under, okay? If you get an opportunity, first half under. Because the team that hasn't played on the court normally plays poorly, shoots poorly. Both these teams haven't played on the court yet, and it's in the morning, pretty much. It's 12 noon, and no one's there. Sleepy atmosphere. Really tough to get excited. The bands are there. You hear all the squeaking of every sneaker. It's very awkward. It's very different, okay? They're playing for their lives, so they're tense because they got to win the thing to make the dance, both these teams. Both these offenses are bad, okay? Northern Iowa's offense is 215th adjusted efficiency offensively. Illinois State is 259th, all right? Defensively, they're both not that good. I'll give you that. But offensively, they're both really poor. So if you have an open shot and you miss it, okay, that's not a great defense. Just the offense are going to stink. Effective field goal percentage for Northern Iowa is 138th in the country. Effective field goal percentage in Illinois State, 199th in the country. Not good, okay? Not good at all. Illinois State does turn the basketball over a ton. They're actually 344th, so the ball goes all over the place. So that's a little bit of a concern, but Northern Iowa is a team that doesn't really hit their free throws, which is not great, 277th in the country in free throw percentage. Illinois State does hit their free throws. They're 6th in the country. They hit their free throws. That's a little dangerous when it comes to the over, but average possession length defensively, they're both in the 200s. In Illinois State offensively, average possession length, 291st in the country. We're going under 135.5. DraftKings was off the market here. Everybody else was at 134.5. DraftKings 135.5. Why I put it in the Discord channel to tell you about this, to jump on the opportunity. We're going under 135.5 for Northern Iowa and Illinois State. Early game, first game of the day, Arch Madness in St. Louis. Okay, bet number 2. Youngstown State, we bet this team earlier in the year. Youngstown State is hosting Detroit Mercy in the quarterfinals of the Horizon. These games get played on a campus until they go to a neutral later in the tournament. So Youngstown State is at home. So we get all the numbers for Youngstown at home, which is huge in my opinion. They're 8-5 ATS at home, 6-12 Detroit Mercy on the road, ATS. They're 8-13 in conference. Youngstown State is 12-1. KenPom has this number at 8. The line is 8. However, look at the way these games were played this year, and you have to really like Youngstown State here. Like the way that they play. Youngstown State's offense is 32nd for adjusted efficiency offensively. Effective field goal percentage, they're 14th in the country, up against 320th effective field goal percentage defensively for Detroit Mercy. Not good. Detroit Mercy's offense isn't bad, 54th, so I do lean a little bit on the over for this game, but I think with the crowd and when we're talking about a tournament game like this on campus, Youngstown State is the number 1 seed in the tournament. They won the regular season outright. I think you got an awesome atmosphere. You got a bunch of hyped up kids. ESPN Plus has this game. It's a night game, 8 o'clock Eastern time start in Ohio for this one. I know the last 2 games were not covers. They won against IUPUI as 15-point favorites. They won by 14. They didn't cover. That was on the road. Against Robert Morris, so they lost by 19, kind of a stubbing of the toe. But their last 2 home games against Wisconsin Green Bay, they won by 30. And against Wisconsin Milwaukee, they won by 29. So against Detroit at home, they're 8.5-point favorites. They won by 10 in the season. When they played Detroit on the road, they were 2-point favorites. They won by 5. So they're 2-0 ATS against Detroit, and I think they're going to improve to 3-0 here. I'll lay the 8 points. Youngstown State -8 at home against Detroit in the quarterfinals of the Horizon League tournaments. Valley tournament, Horizon League tournament. Let's talk about the West Coast Conference tournament. One game to talk about. It is Pepperdine up against Pacific. So during the Bostonian versus the Book show yesterday, we were talking about the 160 number for college basketball. How about this? There have been 76 games all year of the over 5,000, approaching 6,000 games in college basketball this year. There's only been 76 of them with a total of 160 or higher. That is a monster total from a book perspective. They do not want to go to 160. Pepperdine and Pacific is 160.5. They're playing this at the Orleans, which is a smaller building, not a bad sight line, but still a first game in what will probably be a dead atmosphere. Okay? You've got a new building, a neutral court, and the guys have to get adjusted to it. Plus, if you lose, your season's over because both these teams are not very good, obviously, because they're playing here on a Thursday night of the West Coast Conference Tournament. This is a late night Eastern time start. Okay, FYI, you East Coast guys, you may want to bet it and you'll wake up to see if you hit. It's an 11:30 Eastern time start, 8:30 Pacific time start. Late game here, even here in Vegas. Pepperdine is 20-8 to the over. Pacific is 16-13 to the over, but here's the hook. They had a total of 154.5 in their first matchup. Game went over by half a point. In the second matchup, they had a total of 162. The under came in by 8 points between these two teams. You start looking at the way these guys play, and you're going, okay, 160.5 seems really, really high. Too high. We're crossing 160, even with a total of, a 20-8 and a 13-3 to the over for Pepperdine. Yes, 163 against Santa Clara, went over by 10 points. 172 against Gonzaga, went over by 13 points. 159 against San Francisco, went over by 9 points. 163.5 against Portland, went over by 3.5 points. 160 against Gonzaga, went over by 39 points, mostly because Gonzaga scored 111 points on Pepperdine. It's the building more than anything for me, okay? It's the fact that the total's really high. It's a neutral site game, and they didn't play. They played one neutral site game. Well, let's see, they played 2 neutral site games. Pepperdine did. They played neutral up against George Washington. It was 149.5, went over by 1.5 points. And then against Iona, 152, game went under by 10 points. I'm betting under on principle. I'm going under 160.5. Obviously, these bets are all minus 110, 1.1 units, under 160.5, Pepperdine, and I know it might be scary, Pacific in the West Coast Conference Tournament. Okay? So we're going under in the Valley, first game of the day, Northern Iowa and Illinois State, under 135.5. We're laying the 8 points with Youngstown State at home up against Detroit, laying 8 there, and we're going under Pepperdine and Pacific at 160.5 for 1.1 units. So 3.3 units in play there. Now, I don't like the hockey slate. I really don't like the hockey slate, but I want to bet hockey. I want to have one hockey bet in play here. The Wild and the Canucks, this is the number one team, first period over 1.5 goals, and the worst team to an over 1.5 goals. We've bet the Wild a lot. The Wild have had goals being scored quite a bit. I can't recommend betting anything except the Canucks are a bad hockey team at home. They're 11-16-1. The Wild are 13-11-4. The Wild have won both games so far this year, 3-0 on the road, 4-3 at home. I think the Wild are going to win tonight. The Wild are going to sweep here. I don't care who's in net, whether it be Delia or Demko. It's probably going to be Fleury tonight. It could be Gustafsson. Either or, I'm good with the Wild, but they're heavy favorites. Like, I can't jump around here and be like, man, let's go ahead and jump in on a minus 215 favorite. It's just hard to recommend it. Wild right now are minus 165, on the money line. But you can pair it up with the Dallas Stars. Dallas has a get-right spot on their hands tonight against the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks just traded away Patrick Kane, the heart and soul of the team. Everyone in Chicago knows that they are tanking. They want the Bedard kid. They want the number one pick, and they want the idea is trade Patrick Kane, lose as many games as possible, and get the Bedard kid out of Canada, who is supposed to be the next Connor McDavid. Okay? They're losing tonight. Minus 215 on Dallas. It's a plus 135 parlay. 2-leg moneyline parlay for 1 unit. We haven't done many of these. I don't recommend parlays all that often, but I think the Wild will beat Vancouver just based on matchup, based on the way the Wild have been playing. The Wild are 34-21-6. You have Vancouver is 24-31-5. They give up a lot of goals. I just like the defense for what's happening right now with Minnesota. They've won 4 of the last 5, both shootouts in overtime at home, but road games, they beat Columbus 2-0. They lost in overtime to Toronto 2-1. They beat LA 2-1. And then the Canucks beat Dallas on the road 5-4, lost to the Bruins, beat St. Louis, lost to Nashville. So they're 2-2 over their last 4 games. But at home, they lost. They beat the Flyers 6-2. But I like the Wild here. I feel very confident the Stars are going to win tonight, just given what's going on in Chicago. They want to lose every game the rest of the way if they can. I think Vancouver equally is going to probably go into the tank and to go into tank mode. I'll take the Wild here to get a W because the Wild are definitely still playing, trying to catch Dallas. They're 3 points behind Dallas in the Central Division. So they're chasing the Stars. Let's just take both teams who are chasing against each other. Dallas, Minnesota, both to win, plus 135 parlay for 1 unit. Money line only here for us on a Thursday. All right. So 4.3 units in play here on a Thursday, 3 basketball and 1 in the NHL. If I added anything, obviously I'll jump on the Discord channel and tell you about it. I don't really anticipate it, but a lot of college basketball to watch today, early until late. You've got, if you're a West Coast person, you have a 10 o'clock game a.m. and an 8:30 p.m. game. I'm bookending it. One of the first games and the last game. We're playing them both here with unders in those, and then we're taking the -8 for Youngstown State in the Horizon tournament, the number 1 seed up against Detroit. Wild and Stars moneyline parlay. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt every single morning. Let's keep the week going. Winning week so far. It's the Daily Juice Podcast being presented by BetMGM.